has 3 mouths yet cannot speak, 6 legs yet is unable to move, and 3 minds yet cannot comprehend? The answer, of course, I will reveal. For where there's a mystery, you can always find me, Mr. E.
Welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. It's 2023, baby. My name is Jordan. I forgot how the intro goes. Anytime I add in a variable, I'm Jordan.
You're like a microchip.
I'm a chunk.
Any slight variation in environmental conditions and you're shot. You're no longer functional.
Yeah. I'm Jordan. I'm chunk. I'm chunk, and I'm Jordan.
I'm Doge, and look into the center of this glass onion. Miles Braun is a hunk.
And I'm Carter, and it's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth. Don't you think? Chunk.
Did you?
Yeah, you go.
Don't you? Yeah. Don't you, chunk? I forgot things too. I'm just so excited.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Doge,
what do you have for us?
We're starting year 6 of Two Chunks and a Hunk, which, by the way, holy moly. And we're not really starting. We started year 6 back in October, but we kind of feel like 2023, new year, new us, brand new vibe. I think it's time for a new slogan. We've been movie musings for mostly everyone for a long time.
We have.
Which is good. It like definitely hits the core of what our show is about.
Anyone for a while, then it was everyone.
Yeah. That's true. It's a little more inclusive now that it's for everyone, not just anyone. I think, though, if we could get something that like captures our fun party vibe, maybe our slogan could, like, I've been kind of think tanking.
Dude, I can already feel how I'm going to feel when you say this.
You're going to hate it. You're going to hate it, but promise me you're going to hear it out.
I don't have an option. It's an audio medium.
If somebody's like, what's your show called? Two Chunks and a Hunk. And then they say, do you have a slogan? And we say, yes. And our slogan is, take that, rewind it back, 2 chunks, got the pod, make your booty go. And then we clap really big. It's pretty good, I think.
I'm going to surprise you here because I love it.
It's good, right?
I love it so much that I would say we should look into whether we're in legal hot water for using that. And if
it's
we're
good,
not,
right?
I think that's our podcast slogan.
I think if nothing else, that's how we should spike. We need to not do this whole like count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and clap on 8. I think we should all like get real into it, and then that's how we even if that's how we slide.
The way that Usher says, the way that it's not Usher that says that. Who says that? And somebody say Ursher.
Easy. Turchunks. Yeah,
take that. Rewind. Turchunks. Got the pod to make the booty go.
And then we clap, and then that's how we spike it. Maybe, or maybe that's our slogan.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. I'm glad we all agreed. You know? I really thought you guys would hate that.
I hate it on a conceptual level, but
when you say it, it's fun.
It works
it's
too well.
It's fun though, right?
It's too good.
Take that. Now that song's going to be stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We'll just rewind it back. That's all you got to do. Yeah, no, that works really well. Let's get legal on that and see if we can check if we're in some hot water for using that. Because if we're not, if that falls under fair use,
then dibs.
Yeah, no, that's ours. That's ours for sure. Instead of here's what I'd like to rewind back. The movie that we're going to talk about for the first episode in our Mr. E series.
Mr. E returns.
Mr. E has returned to wrinkle our brains and to tickle our medulla oblongatas, to massage our cerebellums, to... I ran out of brain parts.
No, keep going.
I ran out of... I don't know any more brain parts. Lobes.
All the official ones are so beautiful. The names.
To tantalize our amygdalas.
Tickle. Hey, Mr. E, tickle my lobes.
I'd
love...
Oh, to tantalize.
I'd love to get my lobes tickled. I want to talk about a movie, if that's okay with everybody. And the movie that we're going to talk about today is none other than Glass Onion.
A Knives Out mystery.
A Knives Out story mystery movie. This one, I wouldn't say it's hot off the presses, but it's dang near close.
Still a little steam.
It's still it hasn't hit room temperature. It's still pretty warm. It's good enough to eat, and it hasn't lost its crispiness. This was watch number 2 for me. 2 for Carter,
Same.
1 for Doge. So it only makes sense that Doge would synopsify us right now.
I would love nothing more. This week's IMDb synopsis is written by Grant's.
2 of them?
Grant with 2 S's. Grant's.
Like glass onion.
Glass onion.
Grant's Onion.
Grant's Onion. 5 longtime friends are invited to the Greek island home of billionaire Miles Braun. All 5 know Braun from way back and owe their current wealth, fame, and careers to him. The main event is a murder weekend game with Braun to be the victim. In reality, they all have reasons to kill him. Also invited is Benoit Blanc, the world's greatest detective.
Bam.
Okay, yeah.
Well, okay.
No, that is the movie. That is the movie.
Then. Well done.
I said it in Mini Monday. I'm going to say it again here officially on the record. Make 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
What is that? What is the contract currently?
2 more, I believe. There's 2 more Netflix ones in the.
So they did
hopper.
a three boy with Netflix.
I believe so.
Why not?
I thought Netflix bought 4.
Maybe they bought 4.
Yeah.
I'd be
I
okay
think
with
they're going to
5
go to Knives Out 5.
Here's
like every other year.
Before we get started in our discussion, I had some ideas last night for some sequels that could shake things up, Rian Johnson style, who is quickly becoming a favorite in my house.
He's great.
But psyched for his new show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Poker Face.
Cool.
And it's not just a produced by my guy.
No,
he wrote it.
This is him.
Directed. Yeah.
Well, I was looking through his filmography on IMDb, and sometimes I forget about Looper, but I should never forget about Looper.
Yeah,
that movie owns bones. But so I had a couple ideas for some fun sequel ideas. The one I most want to see happen is Benoit Blanc proves his own innocence. I would love a Knives Out story where Benoit Blanc has been framed for something and has to like essentially do the full Knives Out investigation style thing, but to prove
the only suspect, of course, being myself.
Exactly. You have a very good Benoit Blanc, by the way.
I felt it when I did that opening quote. I felt that I was there.
That's powerful. I also would love to see, because I have in my head, Rian Johnson loves to flip things on their head a little bit.
Flip it in reverse.
And so I think one that could be really fun is if like Benoit Blanc has like a niece that's in middle school and she has been running for class president and somebody has like put out an Instagram reel or something saying that she did something horrible and he has to prove her innocence. It's very low stakes, but the movie treats it as though it's just as high stakes as a murder. And then if you want to, you could have some like adult murder conspiracy thing happening at the same time, but I don't think it needs it. And then lastly, Glass Onion is such a bottle episode type movie where everybody's all stuck together. I think
put it on a
cruise
ship.
Put it on a cruise ship.
Put it on a cruise ship.
Put it on a boat, baby.
Yeah, 100%.
See, I think the key to one of these is that these are all cozy mysteries like that. Like the first one, they're stuck at this cabin, stuck at the big mansion together. This one, they're stuck on this island together. I think the fun thing is like do like they're snowed in at a cabin or something like that.
Ski lodge, like a fancy chalet in France.
The great thing about this too is Benoit Blanc he's going to age like a fine wine. Daniel Craig, if he wants to, could do this until he's 80.
Exactly. This is new Bond.
Daniel Craig, I'm going to say it here, will be remembered for Benoit more than James Bond one day.
That's wrong. But
No, I don't think it is.
it brings up an interesting conversation. So
I really don't think it's wrong. I think that Benoit Blanc, I think that he has put his stamp on this character harder than he put a personal stamp on Bond. And I think that
But he totally his movies did the total reinvention of Bond though into something not as campy goofy.
I'm just
he was a big deal.
They're going to recast Bond. They'll never recast Benoit.
That's fine. That's true.
Just saying.
They might have said that about Poirot 100 years ago, but he got recast. But Ryan Johnson won't do it. So my super pump, I'm just doing it now, is first super pump of the year.
Wow.
For this entire podcast is Benoit Blanc. Can I take a moment though to talk about Daniel Craig? So I'm I grew up with all the Ian Fleming books that my dad handed down to me, and so I think Daniel Craig.
I've never read a James Bond book.
Almost a Bond head over here. So I think Daniel Craig has done enough.
I think you are.
Bond.
You can claim that.
You are a Bond head.
I think they wouldn't have taken Daniel Craig's Bond so seriously. I don't know. The fact that we basically kill him in the last one is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Is wild. And they did it with Daniel Craig. And they weren't able to do that with anybody else. Anyways, to counter your argument a little bit, Jordan, that he'd be remembered more for Benoit Blanc, I can see a recency bias with that kind of thing, and with the success of this, and with how much more you can impersonate that way easier. I think it's a character that's quirky and stands out, and we haven't seen any iteration of Benoit Blanc. We've seen the sleuth, right? But I do think that it's it could be like a 50-50. If anything, it'll be right down the middle. And that's what makes Daniel Craig so special to me.
Agreed.
There's never been another iconic, we'll just talk about the Bond series right now, but there's never been another iconic character that became another iconic recurring character from Bond. And that can't possibly be easy.
No,
also, these two are so far apart. You can kind of look at a lot of roles and be like, I bet Daniel Craig would be perfect for that, right? You can't really do that for a lot of people in these roles in the past. Either our detective or our, maybe like Tony Shalhoub, who was Monk, can kind of almost do anything, but he always needs to have a touch of anxiety. So he kind of keeps
now I
that.
want Tony
Daniel
Shalhoub
Craig,
in a Knives Out movie.
Sure.
I bet
Why
it
not?
happens. Oh, have a Knives Out movie with all the people that have played sleuths before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have him go to a sleuth convention.
Like a sleuth con.
convention.
Yeah.
But Benoit Blanc, the fact that he already had me, there was already a grip on me with the first one. And Daniel Craig, I just am always viewing movies and their real world scenarios in terms of the business. The fact that he wasn't even completely done with Bond and did Benoit Blanc.
I know.
Yeah.
Ooh. It was like a bigger standout than the fact that Captain America was also in Knives Out.
Right.
Because it was still kind of felt like Chris. But Benoit Blanc is, I can't remember the last time there was a character that you could just write perpetually.
Yeah.
He will be fine anywhere. And I never had doubts, but here was a confirmation with a completely different cast and arguably completely different vibe from our first murder
100%,
mystery.
Yeah. Yep.
And he still got to carry it.
Yep.
Clearly. It's unbelievable. Daniel Craig is very quickly one of my favorite actors in the world. I cannot believe his range. I cannot believe his chutzpah to just go do it.
Yep.
Hey, Daniel Craig can do comedy really well.
He's
hysterical.
Hilarious. Which it's so funny because a lot of these things played well for Bond. Like legitimate charm.
Sure. Yeah.
Like to be able to go through a scenario and just be like still kind of suave. So I guess if Tony Shalhoub is holding on to a little bit of anxiety, I guess Daniel Craig holds on to suave. Like he's going to have a moment where you're just like, wow, what a charming guy. But
even in the weirdest, like most non-traditional clothing ever in this movie, still so like
he's
charming
way behind
and
everybody else.
Legitimately cool. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Benoit Blanc is my super pump as well for a lot of those same reasons. And I think it still is true that Daniel Craig as Southern Detective Benoit Blanc is like such an excellent idea, such an inspired piece of casting. And like, it's like you said, Carter, it just works so well all the time.
Yep.
We never blatantly, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say Benoit Blanc is the thing that makes me say make 1,000 of these. Because as long as Benoit Blanc is there, who cares? The movie will work.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the most interesting thing because Knives Out was amazing. And it made me really excited for movies. When they announced a sequel, I was nervous, but excited for the most part because I thought it would be great. This movie, what this movie has done is reinforced to me, this will always work.
This will work every time.
This will just always work.
I'd
So
say
just
it's two
keep doing
pieces. I
this.
think you need to have Johnson too. I think you need to have Ryan Johnson. also.
Without a doubt. If Ryan Johnson's out, then it
extension
won't work.
of Daniel Craig is the muse of.
I'm assuming that Ryan Johnson is the only person that will ever make these when I say that you have to have Benoit Blanc.
Yeah.
I don't think that it works if you cast another detective as the main detective.
No, and these guys are tied together. The only other time I feel like this contractually is like sports. Right now,
Sure.
Like for all my Spurs fans out there, it's like my favorite team has a quarterback wide receiver duo that's going to be together. I know contractually for 4 years, four more years.
Right.
And you get to kind of just sit back and be like, man, just something to look forward to every day. And it's so fun that they have. And did we confirm it was 4 with Netflix? So there'll be 5
know.
Knives Out movies?
I'm
either 3 or 4.
I'm mixing up whether or not that's Knives Out or Avatar. There was something that right around the
Either
same time
way,
it was announced there's going to be a bunch
It's
more.
going to at
That's
least
a
be
lot.
3 with Netflix.
Yeah.
Meaning 4 Ryan Johnson, Daniel Craig helmed movies. Thank you, God. Like,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if they want to go ahead and greenlight 9 more after that, that's okay with me too.
Yeah.
Crank them out. Let this be what Ryan Johnson does from now on. I'm fine.
I mean, that's certainly his wheelhouse right now. With Poker Face, we were talking about that before the podcast started. But he's got Poker Face coming out, and it might already be out. A TV show that's just like a different mystery every single week. And so it will.
that.
So Ryan Johnson's kind of getting to do all of his childhood detective dreams right now. He's going
I'm
in
so
and
glad
doing
it feels like he's found his wheelhouse though. Because I feel like with like the TV stuff that he did, he was excellent at subverting those because his whole deal is like flipping something on its head, subverting expectations, right? And we've talked, we have a whole episode about his Star Wars movie and how excellent job subverting expectations, but that's not really what people want in the middle of a second to last entry in a franchise that's spanning almost 50 years. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But like this type of thing and things like Looper and then Knives Out, and then I'm sure his version of Murder, She Wrote, Poker Face, She Wrote, is like exactly his wheelhouse. I'm so happy because he's the only person doing stuff like that right now. I feel like
That's the thing. I think I had a bad taste in my mouth on Ryan Johnson after The Last Jedi, but I think the blame lies squarely with Disney, not with Ryan Johnson, because he got the chance to come in and stamp his name on Star Wars forever. Of course, he's going to take it and do it with his flavor.
remembered in the same breath as Star Wars for all of eternity. It means immortality.
Right.
I think, and that also helps his resume for me as someone who will not change. So it's like,
Absolutely.
while it screwed up Star Wars, Ryan Johnson
Disney screwed up Star Wars.
Yeah. Ryan Johnson got to say, I'm never not going to be Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Now, here's what you're going to, you're going to get this. It's going to basically be just a 1-act play. We're going to stay
never gonna know what's
in
coming.
this tiny section of the universe.
Yep.
It's going to be a slow-mo chase for 3 hours. It's like, okay, well, at least we know now that whatever he's dishing out, he's never going to change that recipe.
And I'd love to see him make a return to sci-fi because Looper is so cool. And even The Last Jedi on its own merits is an incredibly made
Awesome movie.
Had amazing moments.
So I would love to see him return to sci-fi, but if he never touches anything but mysteries, I'd be fine with it.
If he's just new Agatha Christie.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
No one else is even trying.
It works for her.
because it either was super tropey and they didn't know how to handle it, or it's just too many moving parts. So his mind is perfect for it.
We're watching Kaleidoscope right now. We're almost done. We got 3 episodes left. It's okay.
I was about to say, what do you think about it?
It's just okay.
The gimmick of watching it in any order, does that seem to hold true?
No. Netflix doesn't even present it like that to everybody. I looked online. It's like almost everybody got the same 3 episodes in the same order for the end. So it's really more like 3 little chunks that might be in random orders. But I will say I am underwhelmed by a lot of the acting, and it's a beautiful show, great soundtrack and fun, but it's just okay. So I'm hoping the heist itself holds up. But I'm in heist mode in my brain, and a Rian Johnson heist movie would tickle every fancy I've got going. I'll tell you that.
How about Benoit Blanc gets hired to come to this thing and he unwillingly, accidentally participates in a heist and is trying to solve the heist, foil the heist as the heist is happening around him.
So that's good. Or Benoit Blanc is hired to counter heist a heist.
Cool.
Home Alone, the people that are trying to do this heist.
How wonderful is Rian Johnson? I can't think of too many scenarios where we get to talk about a creative in Hollywood and throw out scenarios and they all feel likely. Like it's one thing for us to have a bit and just be like, oh, how ridiculous would this be?
Yeah, but it could happen.
But this person we're talking about is actually capable and probably would think, that's a fun idea.
Yeah.
But here's something better.
There's been a murder on the International Space Station.
Why not?
Fast and Furious.
Why not,
man.
dude? So I guess what we should do is probably talk about the movie Glass Onion.
Yeah, probably.
Because we're kind of just talking conceptually here, which is fine because it all goes together. But
yeah,
I mean,
this
when you come
movie-
across a character like this.
Yeah, and he carries it. So I'm not upset about the direction we've taken, but I do want to spend at least a little bit of time talking about the movie itself, which is congratulations. If you liked Knives Out, you're going to love this. If you didn't like Knives Out, you're going to love this. My friend, the one person I know who did not care for Knives Out, loved this movie.
Get over yourself. They're trying to just have
They're trying. But this movie is tonally very different from Knives Out in a way that really works for it. This movie is
far less cozy.
It's less cozy, but I would also say this movie is a comedy.
Yeah.
Knives Out is funny. This movie is a comedy. It is legitimately laugh out loud funny in many, many places. I don't think there is a single weak cast member in this entire movie.
I agree.
Everybody is bringing it. Janelle Monáe, Edward Norton. I mean,
Catherine Hahn, Dave Bautista.
Catherine Hahn, Kate Hudson. Who's not bringing it in this movie? And so
Daryl.
Do you know who Daryl is? Do you know who that guy is?
No.
That is the second detective with Lakeith Stanfield in
No way.
That he's going to be in every movie too.
He's just in every one of them. I love that.
And
Leslie
the
Odom
dong,
Jr.
the hourly dong voice is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Jogo Lev.
Oh,
Yep.
wow, dude.
Jogo Lev is in every Rian Johnson movie.
Yes, he is.
There was a Spanish dub of one of his shows or movies or something that Maria was watching in the first Knives Out. He voices an alien who is called Elo Asti, which is a reference to the Beastie Boys song in Star Wars The Last Jedi. And then, of course, Looper.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to talk about here, and we could spend an entire episode. We could kill a whole episode on just the cast alone because it is this is the definition of an ensemble cast that is bringing it.
Well, he did it again. I feel like we would have, 6 months ago, we would have said the hardest challenge of Knives Out 2 is replicating the stacked cast all gelling together, playing off of each other. And it happened again here.
Yeah.
That is such a high expectation for this franchise to be like the thing it has going for it is a mystery. It has Benoit Blanc and it has the most surprising yet perfect stacked cast that you've ever seen in a movie.
You just named 3 of the 4 ingredients that I told Callie make a Knives Out movie, and everything else is open-handed.
What was the other one, Ryan?
Well, I'll get to that in 2 seconds, but I do just want to say, so I'm about to super dump and super pump right here, right now. And my super dump, I'll admit, it's flimsy. I love this movie. I don't really see a lot wrong with it. And I just watched it 2 weeks ago, and this second watch felt like a breeze. It was beautiful. So my super dump is... I just feel like the ensemble cast, the characters themselves are a little more one note than the OG Knives Out, which it's faster paced and there's more going on. So it makes sense to me.
It's like Clue.
Mm-hmm. But just a little more one note, not quite as much to dig into, I feel like. And I think part of that's because they were all related to each other in the first one. So there was a lot more going on like under the surface. But then also because this one focuses a lot more on being funny, there's just not as much deep dives into the characters. You know, he's not sitting down and interviewing or anything like that because he's not technically been hired by the actual murder case.
Right.
But my super pump is the fourth ingredient to a Knives Out movie, which is the parlor room scene, the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I think every Knives Out movie has to have this. We can flip it on its head, we can subvert it, but
any detective movie really has
any
those
detective
moments.
movie, but
Especially
especially
lock
when
the
you-
doors, everybody sit down and shut up and listen.
Yep.
The scene
when
in a
you
Knives
have
Out movie when he
Benoit-
says the name of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you have Benoit, you must have the gather everybody and spell it all out for them scene. And particularly in this movie, we have two simultaneously. We have the murder reveal and my favorite reveal, which is the Miles Braun is an idiot reveal.
Oh my gosh.
It is, they're done simultaneously. They're both perfect. And I remember being like, that's not a word. That's not a word. Why does he keep saying these things that aren't words? And when that comes back, it's just brilliant. And the reactions from everybody in the room when he spells out, your friend is a moron. And everybody's like, oh my God, he's stupid. It is
So
just perfect.
No, it's just dumb.
Yes. It's so stupid. It's brilliant. No, he's so angry.
Stole
in that
my idea. Yeah. It's so good. And it makes for a phenomenal second watch.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I was looking for the receipts, man, and it
Holds up.
literally shows you what happens.
100%.
When we see the drink switch. I watched it happen.
I was thinking of
watched
the
drink switch happen.
Anderson Cooper birthday party cover up. I was like, do they really show that? Yep. I mean, he's clearly about to say Andy.
Yep.
And he cuts him off.
That is
The
so
only
cool.
thing I noticed is in the before the reveal, the camera will pan away from reactions to things to save the reaction. So the scene itself stays the same. But when we see the reveal, we actually get either wider shots or different angles of some of those scenes so that we see people being like, that didn't sound right, or that's not what I was going to say, or what happened. Like, we get more. And that's just such a cool way of doing the reveal.
Well, and that tying into the idea of a glass onion where it looks layered and complex, but the center is in plain sight the whole time.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I don't want to go all Kino on it, but it's a really, really great script for this movie.
And how about on top of that, the fact that Rian Johnson, glass onion, is that a phrase? Is that a phrase? I've never heard that before.
It's a Beatles song.
It's a Beatles song. Yeah, fair enough.
They
I was
played
just going to
that in
say,
the credits.
he came up with this idea. Oh yeah, duh. I knew that. But he came up with this idea for, we take the glass onion idea and we make it this real place with the bar and the whole thing. And it's just whole cloth. This world has been created where the glass onion
that property
is
is for sale?
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
How much dollars?
$450 million or something like that.
Oh, let's do it. Let's get it. Let's make
What do we have in the Two
house.
Chunks account?
About that.
Great.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to say about Rian Johnson ensemble casts.
Please.
It feels like he has a kind of a magic like one for one. I think he got exactly everybody he wanted.
I think
for
so
this.
too, dude.
Yeah.
And what's so wonderful about it is it's like in my mind, I'm like, if he wanted to, though, it could be like the next one is Clooney and Damon and DiCaprio.
He'll get
But
him.
That's not the point.
Right.
Right.
But he
in
could
his mind,
get them
he's
at
like,
this
no,
point.
no. This needs to be Leslie Odom Jr.
Yes.
This is perfect for Kate. I've always wanted to work with her. And the fact that like one of our main leads was Jamie Lee Curtis, like he's also kind of future telling a little bit, because then here she comes back with her career really big with these Halloween movies and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yep. And oh, by the way, he happens to catch Catherine Hahn probably around the time that she was filming Agatha Harkness as like, okay, like he's
got his finger on the pulse, baby.
His character actors too. And he didn't have to go and get Bautista, but I think he's trying to do this like, I think he's trying to check all these, but he's going to get the entire MCU someday. It's going to keep growing
eventually,
but he's going to get them all.
So.
He's got
put Elizabeth Olsen in a Knives Out movie. Fine.
Sure.
Yeah. If I have to watch it, I will.
Sure. I mean, he got Jeremy Renner in this one.
He did.
Technically.
That's true. Oh man. Ryan Johnson,
so good.
Daniel Craig, Dave Bautista, everybody in this movie, everybody involved in this movie, I would hang out with. Like spend time with, not because they're celebrities, because I think they would be fun.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that. Hey, I'd like to be able to afford to buy this mansion. So let's
hang on. Jared Leto's hard kombucha is the 4 funniest words in the English language. Continue.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's go to shout now. It's a shout and it's announcement. So it's a shout announcement.
I thought we were going to leave like the good singing in 2022 and do only bad singing now. But that was really good.
I'll take another take at it.
serious.
I'll do a bad job.
Do a bad one, yeah.
It's the shout.
I like this one more.
Hey, guess what? To my untrained ear, sounds exactly the same.
Well, that's because you don't know what you're listening for. My vocal technique completely changed. My soft palate lifted. My next
Nodules.
week for part of
Were you
Mr.
doing something
E,
different with your epiglottis?
and my sort of standard issue glottis as well. They don't all have to be epic. I don't subscribe to that school of thought.
Epic glottis, bro.
Epic glottis, my guy.
You've been taking my pills made of rhino horn?
There's no rhino.
Rhino horn epiglottis.
There's no rhino in those pills. Next week, as we continue Mr. E, we will be speaking on, I don't like to use reviewing anymore because we don't really review, do we? We just sort
Speaking on makes it sound so
like it's
official.
a TED Talk, huh?
We're talking about.
We'll be shooting the breeze
Okay, we're changing
Shooting
so
the
much
wind.
about this podcast today.
regarding Wind River.
Mm.
And if you haven't seen it, buckle up. It's intense.
It's very intense.
It's very good.
intense for sure.
It's very good.
With Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen, Taylor Sheridan,
man. Start
written
feeling
and
better.
directed.
Very exciting. Patreon, friends. There's a lot of reasons to have Patreon RN. We've looked at the entire 2023 schedule. We've created it like the demigods that we hope to be.
Out of nothing, we've brought a
Out of
schedule
absolutely
into
nothing.
being.
And you're gonna be wannabe on Patreon.
Gonna be wannabe.
The
Gonna
$3
be
tier.
wanna be on Patreon.
Was that?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Dig Raw?
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, that's the kind of singing we're supposed to do in Shout Announcements. I don't know why you're in here with
that's how
all
it's
this
supposed
good
to be.
stuff.
Sorry,
The
that's my
$3
fault.
tier gives you access to exclusive episodes and it gives you extra votes. We've got a vote coming up if you listen to our episode yesterday on Mini Monday and are also keeping a lookout on Instagram. There's going to be a link to a vote for the Hunkies. We have 7 categories that we're going to be continually doing annually in which you are going to have the voting rights. Just make sure that you've got your registration and everything before you do that. But vote on that. You'll get 2 votes for your top 5 in each of those categories. Also, the $5 tier of Patreon. You can come join our ever-growing Discord community in which Box Office Ball Season 4 will begin at the beginning of February.
Coming so soon.
We are going to close the Box Office Ball roster signups on January 20th. So this coming Friday, you still have 3-4 days to jump on into that $5 tier to get your spot for Box Office Ball. Very excited for that. Finally have something in place, I think, rules-wise, that's really going to stick. So looking forward to it.
That means Carter thinks he's going to win again.
I didn't even play last year,
I know, because the rules
but I am
forbade
playing
you.
this year, and yes, I will. win.
See?
And I will be the definition of middle of the pack
I probably will get
for
last
the
again.
4th season in a row.
Shout out Joseph Glass for your championship Box Office Ball Season 3.
Well played, Joey G. Well played.
played.
Very
Joey G.
well played, my friend.
I don't have anything to add. I think you guys have done a
Oh.
good job. I
And
usually
yet-
come in
and yet you have.
well,
And
I'm
yet
kind of
you have.
the fixer of show. If I hear anything that you're like, oh, you guys did a bad job, I'll just take it again.
I was under
But you
the
did
impression that Shout Announcements was already over and we were going to head back to the episode, but then you did your part.
Now it's over.
We're back in the episode, the standard issue episode, might I add. And I'm going to talk a little more Glass Onion, maybe actually talk Glass Onion for the second half, which I think will be sort of a refreshing change of pace. Hey, everything that is set up pays off in this entire movie. There is
Very important for a mystery movie.
There
Any
is
movie,
not
really,
a
but-
wasted setup. Even if it's for a joke, it pays off.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
even the hot sauce.
Yeah. Jeremy Renner's small batch hot sauce. That is honestly so funny.
That is why I
and
want
the
to hang
fact
out
that
with
the
Ryan
kombucha gave Janelle Monáe's character. What is the name of that character?
Well, there's two of them.
There's two of them.
Right.
Which version of sex?
There's Andy and Helen.
We'll say Helen. That gave Helen the strength and to be able to speak her mind in certain scenarios because she was getting a little bit tipsy.
Hard
She was.
kombucha is so funny. That's just such a funny concept of hard, because kombucha is already lightly fermented. That's why it's bubbly and fizzy. Hard kombucha is so funny to me. And Jared Leto's the perfect celebrity for that. Like, that's just, to me, a perfect joke.
Yeah. I almost super pumped the set, just the environment.
It's really fun.
The tapestry that shows the narcissism of Miles Braun in that it's Kanye, right? That was Kanye West. Did you see that?
The
It's like
painting,
this massive.
the big painting behind him is 2 promotional stills from Fight Club combined. It's his head on Brad Pitt's body from Fight Club.
That's funny,
different.
dude. I did not
That
realize
is so
that.
funny. That is so funny.
So Callie said that she saw that there's a super famous painting, not the Mona
Yeah,
Lisa.
I was just about to talk
a different
about
one in his like gallery, and it is upside down, which is just
The painting-
one more hint that he's an idiot.
The painting's full name is number 207, red over dark blue on dark gray. So like the painting's name gives you
Even tells
instructions on how to hang it. And he hung it upside down.
That's very good. That is very, very good.
I want an arena-like living room. I want it to go in. I want it to like have stairs down. Man, how fun would that be?
That'd be very fun.
I
That'd be
wanted
very
that
fun.
so
This
bad.
house is crazy, man. I think something else, if we wanted to come up with another, like maybe not an ingredient, maybe it's a seasoning that makes Knives Out so special. I think a labyrinthine living space.
Unknowable floor plans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think that adds a lot of value to these movies because it gives you sort of the
one that's full of secrets.
Yeah, it gives you sort of the like in the kitchen with the crowbar kind of a vibe of like it could be anywhere. People could be hiding stuff.
You know, it has an
going on.
unknowable floor plan. The International Space Station.
I'm sure somebody knows it. I would assume someone knows. Someone's got to know because they got to be able to fix the generators.
Seems like that thing's always got something wrong with it, huh?
Sure
Everybody's
does.
always doing repairs on the ISS.
Real ISS of Theseus at this point, but
Almost super pumped for me is Ethan Hawke didn't come back.
Yeah.
Or super dump. Almost a super dump for me.
oh, okay.
We had Ethan Hawke for a moment. He gave us this like COVID concoction.
I love that the implication is that Miles
And then
cured
just left.
COVID and only used it to have a party with his friends.
I thought there was going to be a twist when we found out Miles is an idiot, that they all got COVID.
That
would be great.
But again, he just hires geniuses.
He shot like a puff
So,
of bleach onto their throat or something.
Yeah, the overarching theme that like
Blue light.
like Ryan Johnson even tricked the audience to an extent that like wealth and power meant smart, which is not the case.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
a good point.
really good. My super dump actually
Talk to me.
is I couldn't tell if it was just comical how not different the whole crew looked when we looked back at the glass onion at the bar. Like it clearly was supposed to be the past. We changed their hair a little bit. I don't want any deep fake. We don't have to really try and make them look much younger. But those scenes felt necessary, but that felt like a lazier part of the like set
like,
design,
flashback.
putting everything together a little
I
bit.
can hear that.
And within that, there wasn't too much explanation as to like how did he have that kind of influence that early if he was an idiot? Was he just a
Right.
confident idiot? Maybe that's what it was. Narcissistic idiot. And people just believed him and he was able to back all these things and help their careers. I wasn't totally sure about that.
I think
But-
giving Bautista hair in that flashback was the wrong choice. I don't believe that man's ever
But that's
had
the thing
hair.
with Ryan Johnson. It was like, did he think that was funny because he knew
maybe.
we would know it was the wrong choice?
Yeah, maybe that's funny. Maybe it's a horrible wig.
It is a horrible wig.
It's very bad.
It is a horrible wig. It's
It's
so
very bad.
funny though. But it is horrible. No, I think another strength of this movie is that even after the conceit that Miles is an idiot, his grand plan is one that only an idiot would think of, which is just go ahead and light the napkin on fire real quick.
Yeah.
Just gone. Gone.
Now it's gone.
It's gone. And then comes the secondary heart and soul of this movie, which is Janelle Monáe carrying the weight of two main characters.
Yeah.
One masquerading as the other. She really only plays what's the actual name?
Andy.
Helen.
She really only plays Andy in the flashback sequences.
Right.
That's the only time she's ever been.
Helen as Andy. Yeah.
That's impressive, dude.
It's really impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And I think in a lesser movie, a middle of the movie jump back in time to go back through everything we've already seen from a slightly different angle could be a slog, an absolute snooze fest. But here, I think it really works.
I was actually pretty worried up until that flashback because I was like, I don't feel like any of this is hanging together or really leading anywhere because I was looking at the wrong thing.
Yes. And I felt the same way I had thoughts of like, why does Benoit Blanc seem like he's kind of an airhead in this one? Like he's ruining Miles Braun's murder thing and doesn't seem to realize that was rude. He's being so like flippant about different things I don't understand. And then to realize that he knew what was going on the whole time and ruined things on purpose and all that stuff. Yeah. I just think that's brilliant.
Really good.
Really wanted to go ahead and quickly clean that up so that they can get to the real issue at hand.
I think my super dump though is I do think that the final turn of the rest of the disruptors, I guess, against Miles felt a little forced.
Like
not
too little, too late almost?
Not on the steps, not in a too little, too late way, but in the just like, yeah, we're also going to join in with Janelle Monáe and smash all his crystals. It just, that felt sort of forced to me. I don't know why that didn't 100% work for me. It didn't really take away from my enjoyment of the movie, but I think that was probably the weakest moment in the movie for me.
Yeah.
And I think I might agree with that to an extent.
The disruptors as a whole kind of feel confirmed that they're always just going to jump on to what's ever best for them. Granted, they're on the good side now, but it feels like they so easily could just jump right back. And I think that's okay because it's really not meant to be so much about them as it is about Helen.
Right. No, I think you're right, Carter. I don't think we're supposed to think that any of them are redeemed now. I think they just saw the power shift to a new person and glommed on like they did before with Miles.
Yeah.
I think they saw that Miles's boat was sinking and that Helen was now the most powerful person on the island, so they jump on board with her.
Yeah. And there's probably an understanding too is like they're still grasping for straws like in business because I think it can be assumed that when worldwide news reaches out about all those involved in this, they're not going to be able to hide it and some of these careers might end.
Right.
Maybe they're just all going down with the ship.
Man,
so why not just...
I'll tell you, speaking of careers that might end, Birdie J thinking that sweatshops are where people make sweatpants is one of the funniest jokes of the year.
That's so funny.
Kate Hudson was great.
She's so good. Her
she was
screams
really good for Birdie J.
in the final scenes are so funny.
Yes.
It's like
something like what is real?
Yep.
Or what is reality? It's so funny.
It's like every piece of casting, every role that is cast in this movie, I'm surprised by the person who's playing it, but then it's the perfect person to play that role. I felt the same way about the first Knives Out.
Totally.
But I feel like that's the secret of a Benoit Blanc mystery cast.
Yeah.
Is the people that you'd never expect to play. Like I wouldn't have expected Kate Hudson to necessarily play that role of like the washed up former model who's an airhead in charge of the sweatpants industry. But it's perfect. She's so good in that.
Well, it's like Leslie Odom Jr. randomly playing like a suave chemist.
Yeah. Whose idea was that about? It's perfect.
I love it.
Whose idea was that?
I love it. Or Janelle Monáe playing the real Southern twin sister of a tech mogul.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and I know
it's
that
Daniel
all we're
Craig
doing is
Daniel Craig playing like a Cajun, like a bayou detective.
Exactly.
Like a French Cajun detective.
A highly like colorful and what's the word I'm looking for? Not magical, but like he's a showman.
Mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like he's a showman. He's an over-the-top Cajun Bayou detective. I don't know. All of these are like somebody being like, they show up to your work and they're like, I brought you lunch. It's cheeseburger sushi. And you're like, I'm sorry.
Really?
And then you eat it and you're like, can I have this tomorrow?
Actually, this is great. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it just works. And the person who saw it, smelled it, and said that'll work is a genius. Any way you slice it.
Rian Johnson got to.
We have a food analogy here at the beginning.
Yeah, we have to have it. We have to have it. I mean, the title of the movie is a food analogy. Right?
I'd eat cheeseburger sushi, by the way. Sub out rice for hash browns. Make it like French fries.
Yeah. Also, is anyone else on the lookout for all his movies connecting in some way?
All his movies.
It's going to happen. Something. Either in the title, we've got a knife and an onion. I'm just like, okay, so what are we making?
Oh, you mean all the
like,
Knives Out
I'm
movies connecting in some way?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
So I think Daniel Craig plays the same character in all of them.
So far that holds
first
up.
of all.
So far. We'll see.
I'm on the lookout for that if that continues.
You know, something else I love is that, so when he pulls up in Greece, they all mention different mysteries that he's famous for, and they're not any ones that we know. And I
wonder
love,
if we'll see any of them.
So I was thinking they could do a
It's gonna be
flashback
novels.
Knives Out.
I bet those are all going to be like tie-in novels or something like that.
You think they'll like real life
or he
tie-in
just-
novels?
Yeah.
Or they're just references to actual mysteries that Rian Johnson loves, that he's not actually going to do himself, but he wants to give it a little touch of homage or something.
Could be.
He's a big mystery
I'd love
boy.
to see a past. His first one.
Yeah. Young
First murder song.
young Benoit Blanc.
Yeah, but it would have to be recent enough that Daniel Craig could still reasonably play him.
What is the kid from Young Sheldon doing right now, though?
Oh my gosh, don't stop.
Could we do that? Rian Johnson did get to work with a couple of his heroes for this. He got to work with Angela Lansbury and Stephen Sondheim. This is the last appearance by either one of them before they passed away last year.
Crazy.
Wow.
This movie, the conceit for this movie is based on the big murder mystery parties that Stephen Sondheim would throw. Like these big birthday parties, big murder mystery birthday parties.
That's fun, dude.
And Angela Lansbury, obviously, Murder, She Wrote, is a huge inspiration for stuff like this. Did you see Angela Lansbury's Zoom username is She Solved, which is very funny.
That's very good. She
Then
solved.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Natasha Lyonne,
Natasha Lyonne.
and the real Serena Williams also on a Zoom call.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
Doing live personal training.
That's a great bit. That is a great bit. Everything in this is a great bit, though.
Yeah.
I think that you don't often, not to wax poetic about Rian Johnson again, but here we go. I think that you don't often find someone who is both a sort of like groundbreaking director and visionary who is also legitimately funny.
Yeah.
And great at landing bits. It's not never, I think that you could make an argument that in a different universe, Judd Apatow could have tackled something a little more complicated than what he typically does, and it probably would have been funny and good. But there is just something so unique and so special about what Rian Johnson is doing with this universe. And I hope that it goes forever, and I hope that nobody even attempts to yoink this flavor, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really seen another Looper, so maybe we just don't touch Rian Johnson very much.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams certainly didn't. For Star Wars 9.
Dang.
Had nothing to do with Rian Johnson.
Dang.
I know we're talking about a lot of favorite parts, but the ultimate loose end tied for me is Helen being able to say to Braun, like, you'll always be remembered in the same breath as the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, that's really good.
And just how fun and brilliant that was and then to have, Nat King Cole in the background.
Yeah.
And that slow-mo scene of just, it was just glorious.
Very good.
Very, very good.
Once again, there's a payoff. He's got the kill switch. We introduced that early in the movie, and then it comes back.
It just, everything hangs together. Like the Google alerts, like everything, every reveal is so satisfying and makes you go, of course. Which I feel like is never written in mystery. I feel like that's got to be hard to land.
Yeah, there's
almost every reveal is a double reveal, where the first reveal you think is one thing, and then in the second half you realize, that wasn't a Google alert about this. That was about Andy's death. or, you know, I don't know. It's great. Jeremy Renner's hot sauce pays off.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's hard kombucha pays off.
Dave Bautista at one point is in the pool and he says, "Booch me, bro."
Oh, yeah. No, it's great.
Amazing.
Booch me, bro.
Amazing. Rian Johnson even used like years prior media junket kind of stuff in terms of like, remember how it got revealed that he kind of not let slip, but he said that like Apple only gives Apple products to heroes.
Yeah. A villain is not allowed to use an Apple phone. Yeah.
But then like just about everybody in this movie doesn't have.
They use an phone.
Apple product.
Yeah.
But Benoit wants an iPad for solving the murder.
That's really
like,
good.
That is funny, dude.
It was just so funny and thoughtful.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I used to have like a poster size, there'll be a payoff for that in a little bit. I used to have a poster size Where's Waldo book.
Yeah.
That you could like open up and it was like centerfold. It was like 2 long things. There were all these different scenarios, all these different settings. But the point only the first time was just to find Waldo. But I looked at that book so often because of the thoughtful like detail to all the other things going on in that world that's supposed to try and distract you from where he is. Sometimes I would forget where Waldo was, and that would always be fun to go back in. It just kind of feels like that, like an oversized.
That's a great analogy.
Where's Waldo book.
That is a great analogy.
It's just so fun.
It really is. And I think that is something that I really appreciate about the Knives Out series is it seems like fun rules the day a little bit. Whatever the funnest option is.
It's very like Dungeons and Dragons rule of cool. Where it's like, even if that's not technically the way it's supposed to go, if it's cooler if it goes that way, we'll let it go that way.
Yeah. And I think that's really special. I think that there are other people who would have taken this series in a much more serious direction. And I think that's fine. I think there's room for serious mysteries too. And then I think there's people that would have...
They're doing that actually. Yeah. Kenneth Branagh as Poirot.
Yeah,
like they're trying to go back through that. And boy, they cannot be in the same room.
I'm not even interested in them. Is the thing. I haven't seen a single frame of any of those.
But I think there's also a world where somebody goes too silly with this and sort of like phase 3 MCUs it up a little bit.
It's the Pink Panther with Steve Martin.
Right. Except for that's pretty fun. But I just think he struck this perfect balance. I don't know. This is sort of an episode more about Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig than it is about anything else, but oops.
So is Glass Onion.
Yeah, honestly. So it is time to rate our first movie of 2023. Thankfully, we're starting strong, I think, because it is The Glass Onion that we're
just like last year when we started with Catwoman.
Was that our first movie of the year last year?
Sure was.
Boy, howdy. I would say that was a strong start, though.
It was a strong start. I'm not joking.
So we're going to rate it using science, the scientific cinema scale to be exact. And it is perfect and as follows. The best thing we could ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it, buy that poster.
Did you forget?
What?
Did you forget?
Did you forget? You said right before.
No,
like you forgot.
No, but now my rhythm is thrown off. Next up, who knows what's next? Next is buy it. That's followed by rent it. And then stream it. After that is forget it. And last, but certainly least, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie. God hath forsaken us. I'll go first.
We'll let you go first, Jordan. I thought I'd let you go first.
It's a poster. It's so fun. It's the best. I don't know. I think that I would watch 1,000 of these. I want more movies that tickle the brain, tickle the silly bone, and everything in between. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I buy the poster too. I think I like Knives Out more.
I do too.
But I still buy the poster for this. And to allude back to a conversation that Jordan and I specifically had earlier in terms of Daniel Craig's 2 iconic characters. I guess Benoit's on the way to icon. I feel like maybe you at least have to have 3. I don't know. There's no formula for it. But I think regardless, Daniel Craig's career, these James Bond and Benoit Blanc will be discussed. Either of them mentioned first, but like in the same breath. And that is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it's really
impressive.
That is
absolutely unbelievable. And it is just so exciting to look at a character that doesn't need to be a certain age to be relevant. And they can just die out as Benoit Blanc. I just hope it keeps happening. Ryan, please give us 20 more. 20's fine.
Let him play Benoit until he retires from acting.
Yeah, let him be Benoit in a wheelchair when he's old. Like, let him just do it forever.
He's not called Ben Walk. He can be in a wheelchair.
Oh, beautifully played.
There's a poster for me as well.
Yeah, naturally.
I do think Knives Out is better.
I think so too.
In the same way that a 10 is better than a 9.7.
Right.
But I do think Glass Onion is exceptionally good.
This is more fun. This is more fun. I would sooner sit down and casually rewatch this than I would Knives Out.
This is way like brighter and flashier and more up than the kind of the moodiness of Knives Out.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And I think because it's going to be Netflix, right? Quote unquote straight to stream, but it actually has like a week that it'll be in theaters for the sake of award shows and things like that.
Hey, award shows.
You know, it wouldn't have qualified without the Hunkies thing. Well, we'd have to change our rules too then. But I would recommend when the next one rolls around, go see it in theaters. I got to see Glass Onion in theaters, and it is still worth it. It's not always a big bombastic storyline, but it's really fun to still go see and support your
I wish I'd been able to see
theater.
this in theaters.
Well, next week, make sure you join us again as we continue trying to solve the mystery. We're going to be talking about Wind River next week. That Taylor Sheridan joint, and it'll be a good time. Interesting discussion, I believe. To end today's episode, I'd like for each of us to say our name and what location we would like a Knives Out mystery to be set in. Not one we've mentioned already.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Cool.
Get a fresh one.
Just to clarify, we have said cruise ship, we've said International Space Station, and where else have we said? Elementary school. Yeah, middle school.
Yeah. I like that.
So not one of those three.
Yeah. For Two Chunks and a Hunk, my name is Jordan Wonders, and I would like to see a Knives Out mystery set in Washington, D.C.
It's called National Treasure 3.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, I think it would be fun if it was not a murder this time, if it was more like uncovering some corruption or something. I think that'd be really cool.
All it takes is a little bit of lemon juice and the map to the treasure is revealed.
Man, your Benoit Blanc
It
is...
does appear that the secret lies with Benoit.
Very good. Ooh, or like solving a kidnapping of like a politician's kid or something. Or if you want to go real Knives Out, solving the kidnapping of like a politician's like prized Pomeranian.
Come through.
Yeah.
I love that.
One of the Queen's corgis has been kidnapped. Or I guess the King's corgis now. Maybe one of the King's swans has been kidnapped.
Weird.
Doge.
I'm Doge, and I think a Knives Out mystery set in like a maximum security prison where Benoit Blanc is hired by somebody to find out if somebody has given false testimony who's in this prison. So he has to go
get arrested
undercover in the prison.
Yes. Hey. Can I?
I mean, it's the raid too at that
Daniel
point.
Craig
It's the raid too.
Benoit Blanc playing. Yeah.
What if it is there has been an escape attempt, but the person has not been seen outside of the prison, and they believe that he is somewhere within the walls.
They're missing. Yeah. A missing person's case inside a prison. That's fun.
I'm Carter, and our murder victim in this case will be a very rare, endangered species of panda at a zoo. And it is very clearly not died of natural causes. It is a murder. So he has to go to the zoo to solve it. So we get to meet all the quirky people that work there, people that happen to be there visiting the zoo.
I was waiting for the twist in the idea, and the idea is just that somebody killed a panda.
Somebody killed a panda. Well, I'm not going to give the twist right now.
Sure.
No,
We're
we
just
can't.
asking about the setting.
Also, I just decided that a murder among a musical theater troupe, like a Broadway performance, like a crew of a Broadway performance or something, would be spectacular. Set it in
Like a
an old
traveling
theater. Yeah.
Here's your twist. Is that the entire time? Like, can you imagine getting to the reveal and it's none of the human suspects, and he's like, it's the other panda that's in the pin.
It's a murder of
like
crows.
he's been picking up on the jealousy or something. And a panda killing
It's called
panda.
Pandemonium, a Knives Out mystery.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. I think near the end of Benoit's career, it's like a mystery that's been unsolved for so long, and it's drawing a blanc.
A Knives Out movie where there has been no murder, but an attempted murder. And the victim or attempted
Hires
victim
Benoit Blanc.
hires Benoit Blanc, and that person is Dolly Parton. The whole mystery takes place in Dollywood, and it's called Ben Wallywood, a Knives Out story.
Once upon a time in Dollywood.
Once upon a time in Ben Wallow. So stupid.
I think
Maybe
maybe
got 3 Ryan Johnsons right here.
I
It's
think
actually
maybe
not that
there's
hard,
a
y'all.
murder in like a big nationwide department store that sells a little bit of everything. And it's called Bin Walmart Supercenter, a Knives Out mystery.
Ben Walmart Neighborhood Market. A theme park, man, would be really, really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, one with animals, even almost like a zoo.
At Kroger, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you'd get in store. So you can save when you order during band practice, or at the dog park, or wherever. Start your cart with the Kroger app and save from wherever today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. $35 order minimum. Restrictions may apply. Subject to availability.
Save more on natural and organic items. Just clip your digital coupons on our app and use them up to 5 times in one transaction with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
What if everything you got came with a little bit of money? Spicy chicken ramen with a side of quarters, a full tank of gas, and a $5 bill, an entire pantry's worth of groceries, and a pocket full of cash. Well, then you'd be living life on the upside. The first platform that gives you real cash back in real life wherever you roll. Restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, all cashback opportunities. So order the expensive appetizer, buy a little extra at the store, fill your gas tank till the pump stops. Because with Upside, you can. Start earning cash back just for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code SPICY for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code SPICY. Promo code SPICY. SPICY for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Start living life on the upside with the free Upside app.